And welcome to Should You Watch, the show where I watch a new movie or show, review it on here, and tell you whether you should watch it or not. Today we're talking about the new Michael movie. Oh, this is going to be a good one. This film has faced multiple controversies over the fact that they had to heavily edit it. It was going to be a lot longer, it was going to cover more things about Michael Jackson, but instead, the studios and the courts, because there's a thing on a lot of stuff about Michael, more specifically, one thing that I think you know, they had to chop down this movie. And oh my god, does it feel chopped down? The film follows, or it's supposed to follow, Michael Jackson's life and his rise to stardom. It's less the focus on Michael's rise to stardom and more the greatest hits of Michael's time as a pop star from the years 1966 to the year 1988, where it ends right there with his story continues for the second movie, which is also going to heavily chop out a lot of his story. So one of the things I hated about this film was the portrayal of all the other characters aren't fleshed on. He is a bodyguard. We don't really learn much about him. He's just kind of around. He has brothers who the most character development we get about them is that they're moving forward while Michael's still stuck as a kid because he was left out on a lot of his childhood. And in the movie acts like there's this big triumphant thing at the end for all the brothers, when all we really did was focus on Michael. So why should I care that the triumphant moment matters for the brothers at the end? Jafar Jackson is definitely going to get an Oscar nomination for this role. He is amazing. He's perfectly Michael Jackson, pulling off everything from the voice to the mannerisms. I even liked the kid playing young Michael Jackson as the movie begins with the Jackson 5. That's another problem with the film. The speeding through. Like I said, it's more of the greatest hits of Jackson's career. They just kind of skip the Jackson 5. They cover it and how Joe Jackson basically abused his sons into being a boy band. But the problem is that there's so much there to cover about the Jackson 5, and they just skip it over. So then they want to focus on his solo career, but once again, they jump around so much that it's hard to focus on one thing at a time. The film looks like it's trying to go for the relation between Michael Jackson and his father. But the film also wants to go for a character study around Michael and how he was more childish even as an adult compared to his siblings and the rest of society. And the film also wants to go for a sort of rags to riches story when we don't really see them in the rags. Quincy Jones is in this movie, like the producer who sadly passed away a few years ago, and they don't introduce him. They introduce Motown, they introduce so many other people, but they don't introduce Quincy Jones, who is one of the most pivotal pieces to Michael's career. He is the other half of Thriller, if you really think about it. He just kind of shows up, his name is dropped a few times, and that's it. And again, the performances by Jafar Jackson and the actor portraying Joe Jackson, they're amazing performances. They're just wasted on a bad film. The film just kinda is over. There's one plot point that kinda gets carried other than the father versus son storyline, where Michael has an injury. That's all I'll say about that, not to spoil anything. It's seemingly both unfocused and laser focused at the same time. They also don't focus on the struggle to get black artists on MTV. They just kind of do it. Spoiler alert. It's bad because I want to like this movie. It's got great performances. It's got a great soundtrack. Let me get into that criticism in a minute. It's got a great soundtrack, but the story is so bogged down by what I can only assume is production edits to both the script before filming and edits to the actual film in post-production that cut out all the interesting stuff in the film. Problems is that it's just a very shallow, hollow movie. On to the music. Okay, Michael Jackson songs, despite all of the allegations and shit, the reason why Michael Jackson is still popular post-mortem is the music. The music, even from when he was in the Jackson 5, it's great. I'm sorry, it's some of the greatest pop music ever made. I know that's a basic opinion, I promise. I listened to a whole bunch of... The film is definitely to sell more records of this music. And the reason why I say this is because half the movie is just Michael singing his songs. They don't go over a lot of the inspiration about the songs.
Here's an article about Paris Jackson's response to the Michael movie from E! News. Hollywood biopics are sold to you as real, Paris said, but they're sugar-coated. Meaning, she alleged, the narrative is being controlled. There's a lot of inaccuracy, and there's a lot of full-blown lies. At the end of the day, that doesn't really fly with me. I don't really like dishonesty.
Like the making of the songs that much. There's a bit where he meets for like the Beat It music video and to show off the Beat It moves, and that's it. We don't even get to show the filming. There's no substance. There's no substance in this movie. This movie about someone whose life was super interesting. He had a pet llama, pet giraffe, and a fucking pet monkey named Bubbles who is still alive, and they basically graze over that. Bubbles is in the movie with some of the most horrendous CGI I've seen in a while. It's no Gordy from Nope, I'll tell you that. Don't go see it. You should not watch, by the way. Do not go see this movie. I know it did really well. I know some people liked it, but I did not. Of course it's gonna do well. It's Michael friggin' Jackson. He's still big, despite his death, despite all the allegations. I know Paris Jackson was really upset about the movie because it wasn't very accurate. I don't know anything about that except they removed one of the biggest pieces of the story. The manager during the Thriller era. It feels like there could be stuff with the bodyguard that they aren't going into. Or there's stuff with the guy that handled the Beach Boys who's in the movie that they're not going into. They're just kind of characters for Michael's set piece. It's not great. So, final consensus, you should not go see Michael. I would give it a 2 out of 10, mainly just because of Jafar Jackson's performance as his uncle. So, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.